Am I the a-hole for asking my dad's brother to walk me down the aisle instead of my dad? I, 28 female, am getting married in the winter. Me and my dad were very close when I was growing up. When I was aged 16, my parents divorced after 20 years of marriage. Now, I don't blame him for this, and from the information I have, I can confidently say it's my mom's fault they divorced. However, after the divorce, he completely ignored all 6 of his children. He didn't make any effort to keep in contact with any of us, and the last time we heard or spoke to him was the night of the separation. For the next 8 years, I was the main earner for my family and was more like a parent to my siblings. During this time, I didn't keep in contact with anybody from my dad's side of the family. I had the phone numbers of a couple of my aunties/cousins, but didn't really speak to them apart from the yearly birthday or Christmas message. I only really saw one cousin of mine regularly, and that was the cousin who was my 19 male brother's best friend growing up. We'll call him Rob. Around about 5 years ago, I had a big falling out with my mother in which I left the house. At this time, I asked Rob for his mother's number so I could ask her to get in touch with my father for me. She gets her husband, my uncle, to ask his brother if I can move in with him, and my dad agrees to let me stay with him, even though I hadn't spoken to him in 7 years at the time. Later on, when I arrived at his home, tells me I can't stay at his and to go stay at a hotel or something. I call my uncle crying, and he says I can come stay with them instead. It seems as though my dad had agreed when his brother had confronted him, but changed his mind when he had gone home to speak to his wife. For the next 2 years, I lived at my uncle's house, and I consider his kids to be more like siblings now. My dad's siblings and cousins from that side of the family always meet up for gatherings multiple times a year, but I don't really communicate with my dad other than saying hello and goodbye at these gatherings. My uncle was there for me when even my own dad wasn't, and his family accepted me as their own, even though I'd barely spoken to them for 8 years at the time. My dad will be invited to the wedding, but I have asked my uncle to walk me down the aisle instead. He is happy I ask him, but is unsure if he wants to accept because he doesn't want to disrespect his older brother and walk his own daughter down the aisle in front of him. I feel as though my dad doesn't deserve to walk me down the aisle as he didn't have the backbone to stand up to his own wife over his daughter. My uncle even told me he tried to justify himself to his siblings by saying, "They didn't try to keep in touch with me, so why should I look after her?" I'm not being funny, but as being a 16 female at the time and I was the oldest child as well, it wasn't my responsibility to. It was his. Am I the a-hole for asking my dad's brother to walk me down the aisle instead of him in front of him? Now for the top comments. Not the a-hole. You aren't entitled to walk a daughter down the aisle that you abandoned twice. Not the a-hole, but your uncle is also allowed to say no. The rift between him and his brother may not be worth it. Plus, he could be worried that it could cause unnecessary drama on your wedding day and ruin your wedding. Which it very well might. Honestly, at this point, I'd be walking down the aisle by myself if I were you. Not the a-hole. Your dad hasn't been in your life. You're asking someone who has. It's likely your dad will be hurt by this. If you chose to, you could explain the situation in a letter to him, and if you chose, open up the idea of trying to restore the relationship. But perhaps he needs some consequence. Not the a-hole. You can tell your uncle that there's no reality where his older brother will be walking you down the aisle. It's either he walks you or you walk alone. He gets to decide that it will cause him too much grief. But if you make it clear that there is no possibility that you will walk with your bio dad, you are definitely not the a-hole here. You took care of your siblings and cousins when your father wasn't around. You even tried to get in contact with him. I don't think he deserves to walk you down the aisle. It should be who you want, who respects you and you could trust. Best wishes for your marriage. Now for the next story. Am I the a-hole for uninviting one of my best friends to my wedding? Early last year, one of my college best friends told me that she was getting engaged before she told anyone else knew because she wanted to hire my mom as her wedding planner. A couple of days later, she got engaged and told all of our friends that my mom, a professional wedding planner, would plan her wedding. All good until that point. After a couple of meetings with my mom, Lucy stopped responding to my mom. And I noticed by WhatsApp group that she hired all my mom's vendors directly without even telling us. She chose June 2021 as her wedding date. I let that one go because I didn't want to ruin her wedding. Last November, I also got engaged and chose September 2021 as my wedding date to give our friends some time between the two weddings, especially because mine is out of town. Later on, I found out again by a group that she had postponed her wedding to the day after mine. Of course, I was furious, and I had no problem letting her know that time. She finally contacted me and explained that she had no money for the wedding in June, and the day after my wedding was the only available date this whole year in her venue. Again, that's what my mom showed to her, without a contract just because she was my friend. To be honest, I don't buy it. But now I'm the a-hole in our friends group because I uninvited her and was rude to her, and it was not her fault because she has no job. I still feel like she's not the kind of person you call your friend, and does not give me the energy I want to have on my wedding day. Am I the a-hole for this? Not the a-hole. Your mom took the time to plan everything for her, as it's her job, then she just contacted the vendors behind her back. That's already rude. Also, what was she trying to accomplish by moving the date? Reusing your decorations? Having people come to your wedding and just stay one day longer so she doesn't have to cover any costs for guests? I don't get it. Yep. And then she can steal all the designs Opie's mom does for daughter's wedding. Reminder that Opie's wedding is out of town and not at the same venue as former best friend. If anything, this was a ploy to make the friends choose between which wedding they want to attend. And if they wanted to attend both, they'd have to not have too much fun at Opie's wedding. Traveling while hungover surely sucks. And ultimately have to likely leave Opie's wedding early to be able to travel back in time for friend's wedding. But if she had no money for June, how she's going to come up with money just 3 months later? Not a a-hole. That's what I was wondering. Vendors and venues are expensive and she has no job. Not sure what miracle she is expecting they're going to want to be paid. She is planning a wedding she can't afford. Your friend was already the a-hole when she used your mom's services and then went behind her back. Not the a-hole. I'd explained that to your friend group. Not the a-hole. Lucy is clearly a leech in this situation from what you've said. I would do everything possible to either immediately distance yourself or do it over time so it's one of those sadly we grew apart things. I'm not sure how many vendors/locations/services overlap, but I would call yours and tell them a bit about the situation. As someone suggested, she might try to mooch off you and tell the vendors you said it was okay to reuse certain items or ask for a discount because they'd already there. You can tell the people you hired that someone you thought was a friend changed their original wedding date to the day after yours, and you do not give permission for anything specifically for your wedding to be reused for theirs. The beauty of that is, you don't even have to say names. If she used the same people and were booked from June to September, they'll know instantly who it was. Or even if she decides to hire them now, that date and any money-saving request will raise red flags and help them avoid her if they want. I could be reading/imagining this wrong, but I think Lucy might be a diva bridezilla, and no one wants to deal with that. Next story. Am I the a-hole for getting upset that something I had originally said is okay regarding my wedding? Hello. I was supposed to get married last year, but due to the obvious issue, it had to be cancelled and we moved it to this year. Finally, my area is doing well in terms of the virus. The cases are lower every day, the vaccination process is going well, and the regulations are relaxed, and everything is almost back to normal. I'm getting married in a month, and I couldn't be happier. I have a no-kids wedding, and I had notified everyone that it's a no-kids wedding, so they could tell me whether they'll be able to attend or not. I said it's fine if you can't find a babysitter for the day, and I won't judge if you can't afford to have a sitter or you can't find one and you won't be able to attend. I just said I'd like to be notified at least 2 weeks prior to the wedding, because that's when I'm gonna give the list of the guests to the venue. 4 of my friends and a cousin of mine called me earlier this week to tell me they won't be able to attend because they can't find or afford a babysitter. They wished me well on the wedding. I got very upset. They knew for an entire year that I was planning a no-kids wedding, and they couldn't figure something out, which tells me they don't actually care about me. The phone calls of the 4 friends were separate and happened in the span of 2 days, yet my cousin actually visited me to give me the wedding gift and tell me she won't be able to attend. My cousin was the last one to tell me, and I went off. I told her how I feel like my wedding is not important to them if they can't figure out how to leave their kids alone for 1 day. My cousin then said how I'm being unfair, because I had previously said it's fine if we can't attend because of the kids for whatever reason, and then I said that I'm being notified last minute. And she pulled the argument that they notified way before the 2 weeks notice before the wedding, and that they notified more than a month before it. I told my cousin to leave my house because I needed to think. I called my mom to ask for advice and also consulted my fiancé. But they both told me that I'm overreacting because the girls met my wishes and notified 1 month prior, and how I was the one that said it's not a problem if you can't attend because of the kids. I said I felt it was unfair that they'd put their kids above my wedding when it was just for one night. And my mom scolded me and said I'm being too entitled for expecting people to put their kids' needs or their financial issues aside because I'm getting married. And that my wedding might be the most important thing to me, but it's not the most important thing to everyone else. And if someone has to attend 10 weddings a year, it's natural they won't be able to meet the needs of every single one. So, am I the a-hole for getting upset at something I previously said I wouldn't mind? You are the a-hole because of this attitude. I said I felt it was unfair that they'd put their kids above my wedding. If there is someone out there that doesn't put their kids over your wedding, or any wedding, then they are crappy parents. I understand why you want a kid-free wedding, and that is your right. The other side of that coin is that some people with kids won't come to the wedding for lots of reasons involving their kids. That is their right. You ask for a notice, and they were polite enough to give it to you. That line takes her from a-hole to bridezilla. Why not both? You're the a-hole. You said it was okay and gave them a deadline, and now you went back on that. Childcare is hard to keep, and often people won't know for sure if they have it until a week or two before an event. You've given no reason why you aren't the a-hole here, and every reason that you are. But it's her wedding. How could they not drop everything to be there on her day? You're the a-hole. You gave a deadline. They followed it. An invitation is an invitation, not a summon. With the pandemic, people's lives have changed, particularly financially. And it's been really tough on kids. It might be harder to find a babysitter because of other people's lives changing. Maybe they are not comfortable going to a big wedding due to COVID, and are just trying to say it's because of a babysitter because you had said that initially. Also, maybe you're just a bridezilla in general, and they're using this because they don't want to go. That last reason. Why do I get the feeling that's likely the real reason? You're the a-hole. Don't plan a no-kids wedding, and then throw a tantrum because people with kids can't attend. Last story is titled, Am I the a-hole for telling my dad I want nothing to do with his secret second family? My 19 female dad, 50 male, has been having a long-term affair with a woman for over a decade. Their relationship began while he was married to my mom, and he stayed with her even while he dated and was engaged to a different woman after my parents' divorce. I don't think his latest ex ever knew about her, but I'm not sure. She has a kid, although it isn't his, which I do believe. I knew about his affair long ago, and after a big fight, basically said I never want to hear about her again or have anything to do with it, and then I'd be fine. This went okay for a decent amount of time. He would go on work trips and all, but I never asked questions and he never shared, and I was honestly fine being in the dark about it. I never approved, and he knew this, but I let him live his life so long as I was never brought into it. He tells me today he has invited them out to visit. I still live at home right now, and would love for me to be polite while they're here. I told him absolutely not, that I would go to a friend's house for the duration of their visit, but I would not be seeing them at all. That woman caused a lot of traumas during my childhood, and aided in my parents' divorce, and I don't condone women who knowingly be the other woman. I never want to see her, and I made that clear. I said he can live his life as he wants, but I will not be dragged into that. He was pissed, went off on me saying it's his life, and I'm the child here so his day is what goes. He ended by saying to lose his number, and honestly that would be fine with me if he would throw away his actual child for this other family. I wanted nothing to do with that. Am I the a-hole for telling him a hard pass and playing happy family with his affair family? Not the a-hole. You do not have to let this man have his cake and eat it too. It's about time there's consequences for his selfish choices. Did he actually say lose his number? Wow. He is so callous and selfish to easily discard his family as well. cheats, then discards Opie. Yeah, Opie's father is a huge a-hole. I had narcissistic parents growing up and it was awful. Not today, Opie. I'm sorry you had to deal with that. Not today, Hall. I know he's your father, but honestly, do you really want this person in your life? This. I don't get why the other woman is persona non grata, but you're okay with Dad. He's the one who broke marriage vows. I'm by no means okay with what my dad has done and is actively doing. He's my dad, and sadly that complicates things, and I didn't want to lose my remaining parent if I could help it. We have a very rocky relationship. That is at the forefront. As for the woman, I do blame her as well. She was a family friend and knew my dad was married and had kids when they got together. She caused a lot of issues during my parents' marriage, with sending taunting messages to my mom, which caused arguments that I ended up in the middle of as a child. My dad was the married man, but she wasn't an innocent that was kept in the dark about the situation. I guess it's just easier to be totally no contact with her since I have no emotional connection to her at all, whereas it's harder with my dad because he and I do have that. Wow, your father is the massive a-hole, not you. I'm 100% with you. That's awful. I wouldn't want to see her either. Ever. She destroyed your childhood, and your father is appalling too, and you have tried and been very reasonable overall, ignoring his work trips, etc. But this is too much. But it's his home, and yep, his life, so you have few options. I'd find a way to move out, away from your father. It's disgraceful.
Am I the a-hole for wanting to break up with my girlfriend because I was a dare date? Plus updates. I already posted the first part of this story a while back, but I'll just compile the whole story in one video now. Timestamps in the comments section. Original post. I'm really stuck and need some advice before I potentially nuke what has been, so far, a good 8-month relationship. So for a quick background, my girlfriend, 24 female, and I, 27 male, have been dating for around 8 months now. I first met her at a funeral of all places. I wasn't close to the deceased. They were a friend's uncle. I was just along to keep him company. In any case, I wasn't particularly sad looking. I was talking with a family friend and smiling, which she noticed, and made a pretty morbid joke, asking if I put him in the casket. It was so blunt I just sort of snort laughed, and we got to chatting all afternoon, ending up with her number in my phone by the end of it. She was funny, witty, pretty, and a genuinely fun girl to be around. So of course, I took a chance and asked her out, which she accepted rather eagerly. My ego was through the roof at that. Little did I know. I came home a little earlier from work last night. I was covering a shift, and the bloke I was covering came in anyway, so they didn't need me for 8 hours. Anyway, I came home earlier than planned and overheard my girlfriend laughing with someone on her phone. I was about to surprise her with a little jump scare when she said, and I quote, "I never meant for this whole thing with boyfriend to last so long. I'd never normally date someone like him." She spotted me shortly after saying that. I admit, I made a noise I can't even begin to explain, and she heard me. I'd never seen someone go that pale before. She was all wide, teary eyes and quivering lips. Girlfriend then spent the next hour or so confessing that she never planned to date me. But once her friends found out she'd given me her number, they found a pic of me online. And apparently found me so hilariously unattractive that girlfriend just had to fake date me for a week to give me hope. I wish I was joking. Her friends, and apparently girlfriend, are all still stuck in their mean girl high school phase. Girlfriend agreed, but I guess apparently forgot about it, because we've been dating for 8 months now, not 1 week. She told me that she was stupid for agreeing with it, and that I was a really good bloke, and that she really did love me. But she never expected to actually feel that way about me. Why? Because I'm not her usual type of guy. When I asked her to elaborate, she mumbled that she didn't initially find me attractive at all, but after dating for a few weeks, she stopped caring about my looks. I admit I sort of lost my temper here and called her an immature waste of my time. I told her I wished she'd just dumped me a week into dating because to find all this crap out 8 months in, when I cared about her, loved her, was freaking foul. I'm staying with my mom at the moment because I need space to think and vent. Would I be the a-hole if I dumped girlfriend for this? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. Even if you didn't care about the joke part of it, she didn't go out with you because she wanted to, but was pushed by her friends. And then what? Did she give a play-by-play after your first date to said friends? Did she share your intimate moments with the friends? Was your first kiss also a joke? Was she hesitant to kiss you because of the joke? Did she even want to kiss you? It's thoughts like that that would drive me nuts because at what point did her joke turn into real affection? Or was she cringing and flinching for those first few dates? How can you be with someone who thought you were gross for how long? Weeks? Days? Not the a-hole. That's the same crap in my mind. I mean, she didn't act strange or hesitant when we started dating. She was funny and cute and demanded we hold hands on our second date. But was it all a funny story to tell her friends? Was she laughing at how pathetically happy I was dating someone out of my league? I don't know. It's driving me insane thinking about it. I've already chucked up. I just feel sick and tired and used. Given everything you've said, I can guarantee that woman isn't out of your league. She's very much beneath you. Like she's not even sorry. She just seems to still think you should be grateful she stopped caring how you look, WTF, and tries to justify her crappy behavior. Even if you somehow forgave her, you'd never be able to forget. Cut your losses, be careful in the future, but don't let it stop you from finding a real relationship with someone who doesn't think hurting people is a joke. Not the a-hole. Sorry things ended up like this. But damn, it's really bizarre. I mean, you're there at the funeral, chatting with your friend, she approaches you and breaks the ice. Why would she make the first move, so to speak, if you were so hideous? Then you two find yourselves engaged in conversation, so there was a rapport. Finally, she gives you her number, and you start dating. I'm wondering, maybe she was and has been into you. But her idiot friends started clowning her, and she succumbed to the peer pressure so that she wouldn't lose favor with them, if that makes any sense. She's still at fault, don't get me wrong. This is not middle school after all. Y'all are some grown folks. The reason for this theory is first-hand experience. I remember this girl in my 7th grade science class whom all the guys thought was ugly, but I found her incredibly hot, as much as a 7th grade boy could. But my shyness, on top of my cowardice and getting taunted about it, made me not even try. I'm just saying that you're right to be offended and want to drop the whole thing, but maybe you can have a no-nonsense heart-to-heart with her and ask her the questions I suggested. You came to me. Why? Etc. Good luck with it, sir. Mini update. So I've turned my phone back on and it's a mess of texts, voicemails, and missed calls. I've only listened to a couple, but she's absolutely sobbing her heart out and pleading for me to come home so she can explain. Nothing from her friends, mind you, just her. Says it all, really. No idea what to do, but now I feel like rubbish. Now for the first update. So I eventually turned my phone back on after making the original post and was bombarded with voicemails and texts and whatnot. I only listened to a couple and girlfriend was sobbing her heart out on all of them, more or less begging me to come home and let her explain. To be fair, I didn't really have much choice but to eventually go back home anyway. It's a house share and I pay rent to live there. Plus my own mom was basically nudging me back out to let girlfriend explain herself. So I went back home the next day and she pretty much tore out of her room and threw herself at me. She was sobbing and trying to talk, but kept crying too hard between her words to sound coherent. I know I should have probably been angrier, but I hate seeing her cry. And she wasn't just crying, she was sobbing so hard she was having trouble breathing at a few points. Eventually, I got her to sit down and asked her to explain exactly why I should stay with a woman who not only got with me as a dare, but also still laughed about it with her vapid friends 8 months on. A lot was said, and to summarize it so this update doesn't take all night, she more or less said this. fake names for her friends, and I'm likely paraphrasing, but I've spent about 40 minutes trying to remember it exactly. So this is the gist of it. Girlfriend, I didn't mean to ask you out on a dare. I wanted to date you before they even knew about you. I gave you my number first, remember? When Stacy and Tina found out I gave you my number, they looked you up on Facebook and found it hilarious that you were even trying with me. So they got this stupid freaking dare thing and told me to do it to give all uglies in the world hope. Me, wow, real mature. You do remember what you said on the phone to whoever it was, right? That you never meant for us to last this long? You told me I wasn't your type? What's your type then? Not me, right? Too ugly for you. Girlfriend, stop saying that. You're not ugly. You're just not the type of bloke I'd have picked to date long term. But I was wrong, babe. Look at us. We've lasted nearly 9 months. I love you so much, I really do. How can I prove it to you? How? Me, I don't know. I love you too, but all I can think about is you laughing about me behind my back to them. How can I trust you anymore? Girlfriend, I wasn't meaningfully laughing at you. I swear I wasn't. I just don't know how to handle Tina any other way. She's always been like this, and I just go along with it to keep the peace. Me, so you'd rather keep the peace than stand up for me? Is that what you're saying? Girlfriend, you're twisting my words, babe. Me, no, I'm not. God, why should I stay with you? Seriously, give me a reason. You laugh behind my back. You dated me on a dare given to you by Tina and Stacy, right? And you're still friends with them? You chose them and their cruelty over us and what we have? Girlfriend, we've been friends for years though. Me, I freaking give up. At this point, it was just a back and forth of me trying to walk away, and her professing her love and defending her friendship with the Wonder Twins, while trying to make me sit back down. I don't know, guys. I'm back home. She's constantly trying to have another talk. I'm tired. I don't know what to do. I don't know what to say. Advice would be wonderful, because I'm very tempted to just pack it in. I'd have too much pride to stay. Be second-guessing everything all the time. How exhausting. From what I have read, girlfriend failed to resolve the situation. She continues to defend her friends, dismissing their behavior by saying, it's just the way they are. She remains close with these friends, laughs with them at OP's expense, joins in their jokes about him, and allows them to disrespect him without taking any action. Despite all this, she chooses to maintain her friendship with them. To me, this feels like siding with her friends over her boyfriend. Where has she stood up for him? Where has she defended him? Where has she expressed disagreement with the jokes and the disrespectful comments aimed at him? I just don't see it. Be honest with yourself. Will you ever be able to trust her completely? How could you stay with a partner that will not stand up for you against anyone, especially immature, vapid friends? She has already stated and shown you that her friends come first. Why would you have so low self-esteem to stay with someone so awful? If you stay, she will own you. If you are willing to stay in a relationship where you are fighting to be worthy of her because you are not her type, that is on you. Most people wouldn't, but it truly ends up with how much are you willing to swallow and take to not be alone. I agree, OP. I couldn't do a relationship like that. I've had my ex-best friend once tell me my husband was ugly. I looked at her and said, "Girl, the heck you talking about? If my man ugly, yours is just as ugly if not more, since he can't even take care of anything for you. Get the F out." I always defend my man because I love him and love how he looks. You will always question what they are saying. I've dropped friends because of worse crap or even less, because I know she going to keep trying to defend her friends and make it seem like it's not what you think it is. Update me. Now for the final update. I'm done with it all. I tried one last time to get any sort of sense from girlfriend. I sat girlfriend down and told her that I'm hurt and beyond disappointed, that she didn't have the spine to stand up to her friends, that she'd rather keep the peace over defending the man she repeatedly claims to love. Girlfriend got angry and told me I was putting her in a position she couldn't possibly win. If she had a go at her friends, she'd lose them, but keep me. But if she refused, she'd keep them, but likely lose me. She told me she genuinely didn't know what the heck to do. I said that as long as she's enabling Tina and Stacy's crappy personalities, she'll never stop being their doormat. She just went quiet at that point, said it was only Tina, and then just kinda shrugged. So I told her that the fact she was even struggling to make a choice between them and defending our relationship was enough of an answer for me. I told her that while I'm not the most attractive bloke, she and her friends were far uglier than I could ever be, and I deserved better. So I broke up with her. It was messy. She got physical, not violent, just grabbing onto me really tight and trying to kiss me while offering sex. She was still full-on ugly crying too. It was crazy. I've seen her cry and get mad, but I've never seen her like that before. It genuinely disturbed me. I left, and I'm back at my mom's for a bit. Now I know I'm not a kid anymore. I'm 27, but my mom and I have always had a really good relationship, so I told her everything. She listened and didn't interrupt until I was finished. And then she pretty much said what a lot of you told me. She told me I'm handsome. Moms always say that though. She told me that girlfriend is a silly girl who'll never have any kind of meaningful relationship, as long as she lets her friends bully her around. And then she told me that I'm young, and I'll find someone who'll love me so much that she'll fight tooth and nail to defend me. I won't lie, I cried a bit. It felt good to feel worth something for once. I didn't really realize how little I felt that way with girlfriend until that conversation with mom. She even made me apple crumble, my comfort food. My younger brother, 20 male, still lives with her too. He's been kicking my butt at chess. Bloke's a wizard, I swear. Mom and I had a long chat about my living arrangements and have decided that I'm going to move back in with her in a couple of months. I've spoken to the agency, and unfortunately they won't let me end the contract early without a payout for the remaining months. So I'm just gonna stick around till then and then go. It's gonna be awkward since we have to live in the same house share for a bit longer, but I'll manage. I know some of you really wanted me to work it out with her, but frankly, I have too much self-respect to stay with someone who doesn't care enough to defend me from her friends. Not to mention whatever the heck she was trying to do before I dipped out. It seriously freaked me out. Thanks, Reddit. You all helped me make a choice between staying and sacrificing my self-respect to be with a woman who doesn't truly love me as much as she claimed, or leaving her in the hopes that I'd find someone better one day. I hope I chose right, but I guess only time will tell. Thank you all. But frankly, I have too much self-respect to stay with someone who doesn't care enough to defend me from her friends. I recommend you read this 5 or so years from now, and then you will realize how big of a bullet you dodged. Good luck. Still not the a-hole. You made the right choice, OP. Listen to your mother. She's the only woman in this whole mess that has any sort of sense in her head. As for you crying about it all, good, cry. You apparently needed it. I wouldn't even wait until you've paid it all off. Get your things and go stay with your mother. No telling what your ex will do. You've got 2 months left, right? Now fam, get out of there. Agreed. Live at home and just pay the fees to the agent. Avoid your ex. Last story. Am I the a-hole for divorcing my wife after she went into massive debt again? I, 34 male, met my wife, 32 female 5 years ago. She was $60,000 in debt from credit cards, personal loans, etc. A while ago after we got serious, I helped her get a consolidation loan from Consumer Credit Card Relief. I actually paid it all off on her behalf through them. Monthly payments, the whole deal. Things were great for about 2 years. We got married, bought a house, life was good. Then I started noticing packages arriving daily. She got secretive about the mail. Bills were being hidden. When I finally confronted her, turns out she'd racked up another $45,000 in debt across 7 different cards. I was devastated. We tried counseling, financial and marriage, but she kept spending behind my back. She even opened a card in my name. I filed for divorce last month. Now her family is blowing up my phone saying I'm an a-hole for abandoning her when she needs help most. Am I the a-hole for walking away? I feel like I tried everything and she betrayed my trust repeatedly. No, her family can go F themselves. They can help pay the debt if they really care. Actually, OP has already shouldered significant financial burden by paying off her previous debt. It's unfair for them to expect him to do it again. He likely will be partially responsible for the second pile of debt too. Unfortunately, that's how divorce is. Dave Ramsey talks about this. It's called financial infidelity, and it's a very serious betrayal. Her problem or addiction comes out as shopping. She's got deep-rooted issues and is willing to wreck you financially instead of facing it. It's really sad, but if she won't change or get help, I'm not sure what you can do. Not the a-hole at all. She didn't just betray your trust, she put your entire future at risk. You gave her a chance to fix it, and she doubled down on the lies and reckless spending. Her family can be mad all they want, but they aren't the ones stuck paying off her mess. Not the a-hole, but this is a form of addiction. She needs her own therapy. This is about more than your relationship. It's about her mental health. And yes, her family can support her during this time if you do not want to. That's okay. It's your life too. And this is an exhausting path. I wish spending addictions were as recognized as drug or alcohol addictions. Update. Am I wrong for leaving my girlfriend in a bar after I found out she spoke to her ex and didn't tell me? Original post. For context, my girlfriend, 22 female, always says that her ex traumatized her and left her with a lot of trust issues because of his infidelity and the way she found out. He had been sleeping with multiple other people, and she only found out when one of the girls reached out to her. He then ended up in a relationship with the girl who had reached out to her the day after they broke up. Because of this, I've had to deal with a lot of trust issues. We haven't had sex despite being together for 5 months, as she wants to know I'm not just with her for that, and wants to be really careful about who she sleeps with. I have also willingly let her go through my phone multiple times just to reassure her. Sometimes she doesn't even ask. I just off her when I can tell she's worrying, because I have nothing to hide and I want her to feel secure. Now to the story. I, 21 male, was out at a bar with my girlfriend, and we were having a good time. We were mid-conversation when, out of nowhere, she got all weird and distracted. I asked her what was wrong, and she said her ex had just walked in. I asked her if she wanted to leave. She said no. She wanted to see what he was doing in the area as he was alone and lives about 30 miles away from here. He stood at the bar, and we watched him for a few minutes. I was about to ask her if we could stop watching him when a girl walked in, went up to him, and they hugged and ordered drinks. They then linked arms and walked to a table around the corner. My girlfriend looked distraught, like she was going to start crying. I asked if she was okay or if she was getting triggered, and she said she was fine. I asked if that was one of the girls he cheated with, and she said it wasn't. We sat there and it was awkward for about 5 minutes. Then my girlfriend said she wanted to go and talk to him. I said there was no point and to leave the past in the past. She just kept saying I didn't understand. I got a bit frustrated and asked what there was to understand, and she got angry and went on a rant about how he's full of it, etc., etc. I was like, yeah, well, you knew that. And then she said, well, he was saying he only wanted me and all this stuff, and here he is with someone else. I was confused and said that she couldn't expect him to stay single forever after their breakup, and even she had moved on. That's when she said he was saying this to her earlier that week. This felt like a gut punch, and I asked what the heck she meant. She told me that he had messaged her on Instagram, asking for another chance, but she said no. I asked why she didn't tell me, and she said because she said no, and it wasn't important. I asked to see the messages, and she said no, and started going on about privacy, etc. I reminded her that she has gone through my phone multiple times, and that I wanted to see. She said no again. I said if she didn't show me, I'd assume the worst, and she reluctantly gave me her phone. I read their messages, and it was sort of like she said, except they were talking for hours over the course of 3 days, and even had 2 phone calls, each over half an hour long. He told her that he broke up with the girl he had cheated with because he wanted her back. She kept saying no, that it was too late and that she had a boyfriend, but for some reason the conversation didn't end. They just went on and on. He was telling her about how he left his toxic job, where the girls always spoke badly about her, how he cut off all his friends who said she was no good for him, etc. She kept saying she didn't believe him and that she couldn't trust him. The last few messages were about one of the calls, which was a 37-minute call over Instagram. After that call, he said, "I'll leave you alone now. It was so nice hearing your voice again, and I want you to know I'm serious. I don't want anyone but you. I understand you're not in a place where you want to try again right now, but just know I'll wait as long as it takes. If you need anything, just call me." She just replied saying, "Thank you." I screenshotted the convo and sent it to myself because I wanted to go back over it when I wasn't drunk. I asked my girlfriend why she didn't tell me, and she just said again that it wasn't a big deal. I said it seems like a big deal, considering they were talking for hours and having long phone calls. She said she was just seeking closure and finally standing up for herself, as she didn't get to in the relationship. I asked why the conversation had to span multiple days and hours, and she said because there was a lot to talk about. I asked what was said on the phone calls, and she said just the same as the texts. She said, "There's no way you're mad about this." And I just got up and walked off. She didn't follow me. She just let me go. I called an Uber home and left her at the bar. She blew up at me for abandoning her and said she thought I just needed to cool off. We've been arguing since the weekend about this. She says it's unsafe and reckless to leave a girl drunk alone in a bar at night, and that I'm overreacting. I say she lied to me, and she says she didn't lie. She just didn't think I'd care. Am I wrong here? Now for the top comments before reading the update. I mean, it is unsafe to leave a girl alone and drunk at a bar. That being said, everything else that she's done is so freaking wildly problematic. I normally don't suggest the nuclear option, but she's been such an incredible hypocrite, and she's gaslighting you. Yuck. Run. She was only like a 15-minute walk from her house, and her sister was picking us up anyway, so I knew she would have a ride home. She still is attached to her ex. You literally did the right thing. She has issues and isn't going to be a safe partner for anyone in the near future. Just let her be. The fact that she got bothered that he didn't want just her says you were coming in second, and no, their long talks were not closure. She's blowing smoke up your behind. Honestly, she was probably damn near going back to him during those chats. I don't get why she just wouldn't go back to him though. The whole thing is messing with my head. Like on one hand, I think if she wanted him, she could have just gone back, as he was asking for like 3 days. But on the other hand, I think, why were they talking for 3 days? She was probably stuck between yes and no, and kept going back and forth. She knew he sucked as a cheating boyfriend, but she still has an emotional attachment to him, and those two realities crashed. Her reaction when she saw that other gal with him tells you that she's still attached to him, and she was bothered because she sort of believed him. Or wanted to, but her rational brain knew otherwise. At the end of the day, she was conflicted, but you almost lost her to him. Until she actually gets over him, she isn't worth investing in. She did hide the fact that they were talking, and her excuse is pure BS. She knew it was wrong. You're not wrong, and she didn't tell you about him contacting her and them talking, because she knew she was in the wrong, and possibly because you would not be happy about her keeping contact with him and preventing them talking more. She's not ready for a new relationship. That's what I said, but she said she didn't think I'd care 'cause I don't have trust issues. Well, I do now. Now for the update. So this morning, I woke up early and couldn't get back to sleep. Today is my girlfriend's day off, and I asked her to come see me as soon as she woke up. She said no. I said if she didn't, we'd have to end things. She got here around 9 a.m. I asked for her phone, and this almost started another argument. I think she could see my lack of sleep and genuine attitude of defeat, and just rolled her eyes and handed it to me. She is still talking to him. She texted him that night, saying she saw him and calling him a liar. He said he was just with people from his new job and sent back a picture of him with a big group of girls and boys. He assured her he still only wants her. She apologized to him. Funny, no one else came in while I was still there. So he just happened to meet the hot girl from work alone first and drink and sit with just her for at least 45 minutes before anyone else joined them. After she got off the phone with me after our argument that night, she asked if she could call him. 2-hour phone call. Sunday, a 4-hour phone call from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday, a call from 6 to 8 p.m. Then last night, a video call from 8 p.m. to 2 a.m. Which means, while I was typing my post, she was on FaceTime with him for 6 freaking hours. And in between all of this, they were sending each other memes, talking about old dates they went on, a bunch of inside jokes I even don't care to know the reference for, etc. She couldn't even look me in the eye. I said I had a few questions, and she just said, "Is there any point?" I said yes, to me there is. I asked her if she still had feelings for him. She said she didn't think she did, but now she isn't sure. I asked why she didn't just end it with me. Again, she said she didn't want to unless she was sure. I asked if the reason she hadn't slept with me was because she was saving herself for him, something a few of you suggested. And she basically freaking admitted it. She said on some level, it still felt like she was cheating on him. She said her therapist told her that sleeping with anyone before she was absolutely ready would be harmful to her and to them, and that she didn't want to hurt anyone. I told her I can't be with her. She's not ready, certainly not over him, and she lied to me. And I see what she's done as cheating. She just said, okay. She walked into my bathroom and made a phone call. When she came back, I helped her gather the things she had here, and then we sat and waited for her ride. It was awkward. When she went to leave, I tried to hug her goodbye, but she just said, "Please don't touch me," and dodged it. She just looked really defeated. She went outside, and wouldn't you know it, her ex was waiting for her. He took her 2 bags, put them in the boot, and they drove off. I went to message her asking if she was freaking serious, but I was already blocked. You were all right. I'm a freaking idiot and feel like a loser for wasting these last 5 months trying to be patient and kind and understanding, just to get it thrown back in my face. Gonna go try and lie down and get some more sleep. I don't really want to deal with this anymore. Sorry for wasting all of your time. Thanks for the advice, though. Good luck, buddy. It will get better. Thank you. Keep your head up, my guy. 5 months is nothing to a life lesson learned. You've gained much more than you lost. Keep moving forward. OP block her on everything. Once she realizes why they're exes, she'll be back. Unfortunately, some people can't be fixed. Your ex is drawn to toxic relationships, and you couldn't provide that for her. She's a cheater and doesn't deserve your kindness. Doing what she did, calling her ex to pick her up from your place, is probably the best thing for you. You'll never look at her the same way again. Think of all the red flags she displayed during your relationship. She most likely talked about how bad her relationship with her ex was and how wonderful you are, which gave you the need/want to protect her. She played on your good character while waiting for him to break up with his girlfriend so she could jump right back into a crappy one with her selfish, cheating ex. Use this as a learning experience to not accept a girlfriend who isn't as invested in the relationship as you are. I know it's rough, but you dodged a bullet. Go live your best life. I was just about to say the same thing. She's going to try to come back to OP when she realizes the ex hasn't changed at all. She's not right in my opinion. Not about you. You're a victim here. Never try talk to her again. I won't LMAO. Screw her. Last story. Am I the a-hole for throwing my girlfriend out at 2 a.m. after reading her messages to her ex? My 26 male, now ex-girlfriend, 22 female of 3 months, friends for 2 years though, has recently reconnected with her ex. They have been texting as she is seeking closure. For the most part, their conversations have been her asking him about cheating on her, and him finally being honest. On Friday, he called her at like 3 a.m., and they were on the phone until 8 a.m. This struck me as very weird, and so I did something I'm not proud of. I snooped on her phone. Only a single message was saved, as well as their last 24 hours worth of messages. Thanks, Snapchat. All messages copied and pasted into my notes, and then here. Sorry for the atrocious writing style. The one saved message was from her to him, and it said, "I don't know what I want, because I don't know if I can trust you as you ain't showing me that I can." I don't want to fall in deep with you again if I'm just gonna get hurt and betrayed and be even more traumatized than I already am. I need to see that you actually are changed, and I'm not gonna go through any of that again because I even let you slightly back in my life. And again, I'm the one sat here crying, not you. You have some hold and control over me because of how much I let you in, and it freaking hurts having constant reminders of your behavior. Tonight I already know what you're doing, and it makes me physically sick. Since I started talking to you again, I feel like I'm drowning. I have to get so pissed to have fun, to be able to breathe for 2 seconds. Can't freaking eat cause it makes me feel sick. You just don't get it. Then on to the actual crux of my post, the messages from the last day. Him, I don't know how you can get mad at me for being friends with a girl when you have a boyfriend LMFAO. Her, I'm not mad at you being friends. I'm mad cause you act clueless to the fact she wants to bang you. Him, I just don't think she does. Her, why? Him, because she calls me when she's drunk all the time, and she's never said anything like that. If a girl likes a guy and she calls him drunk at 3 a.m., then she'd at least make a sexual comment. Her, I called you drunk last night and didn't tell you I wanted to bang you. Him, exactly. Her, exactly. So just because a girl is drunk and wants to bang you, doesn't mean she's going to say it. Him, you wanted to bang me? Her, I always want to bang you. You know, since we talk, I haven't had sex with him, so I don't want you sleeping with anyone tonight. Him, I'm single. Her, well, you supposed to be showing me that you actually serious about us. And if I cannot have sex in a relationship, you can do it when single. Him, you don't even like sleeping with him anyway. You literally told me last night I'm the only person who can get you off. Her, that has nothing to do with what I'm saying. And it goes on, but that's the part that's important. Upon reading that, I just lost it. I woke her up and told her to get out. She asked what was going on, but upon seeing her phone in my hand, she just asked if I was serious. I told her I am. She said she didn't have her car, it was raining, and she had no way to get home. I said that wasn't my problem. She said it was unsafe. I again said not my problem. She can get her ex to come pick her up. She said he's been drinking, and I told her I literally do not give a damn. Get the heck out. She asked if she could wait indoors for the Uber, and I lost it. I just screamed at her to get out. She sort of flinched and then just got up, got dressed, and left. I locked the door behind her. I laid there under my blanket trying to sleep for the rest of the night. I didn't check on her. I didn't care. Today I found out from a mutual friend that it took her 2 hours to get a lift, and she was standing in the rain all that time, 2 a.m. to 4 a.m. Everyone is saying I'm classless and should have thought of her safety. I don't think I owe her a freaking thing. Am I the a-hole? Info. My flat is above a shop, with the exit to the door leading onto the street. There was no lobby area for her to wait in. Now for the comment. The amount of bad karma coming her way is going to be glorious. Her ex just wants to bang her. Once he gets her, he will ghost her and she will be at a loss. Block her and move on, OP. She's nothing but trash. Yup, she treated OP like a tool to make her ex jealous, and the moment the ex showed the attention, she dropped OP on the side. She'll definitely crawl back to OP once she gets cheated and dumped by her ex the second time. No, bruh. Here's a universal truth. If a woman you are dating ever needs to reach out to an ex for closure, it is not only for closure. You leave immediately. No exceptions.